Get to know the babes behind the brand as they talk business, women supporting women, and share what it's really like to work in the fashion industry.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Hi. Live from Level.
Yes, in
Live
LA.
in LA.
That sounds good.
That's
Sounds
better, right?
really
Yeah,
good.
you should do that next episode.
Live from LA.
By the end of these episodes we're recording, your intro is going to be like on point.
Oh, it's only been like 106 episodes so far. You know, it's a bound to get a good intro at some point.
Well, it's Leah here with Donni,
And Kati.
and we'll intro our guest right away. Let's bring her in. An early interest in healthcare led our guest to dive deep into the industry, landing in the biotech field as COO of a genetic lab. With the return of her husband's malignant brain tumor, she made the decision to follow her passion and developed a conscious cannabis wellness company. Mowellens focuses on transparency and quality of ingredients above all else. Welcome, Amy Duncan, founder of Mowellens.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Amy, we had to like cut off the conversation because I was like, pause. We have to save all of this for the podcast. But I feel like I could have.
We have so much good conversation when we're just sitting here before we're getting ready. It's hard to be like, stop. Okay.
I know. I feel like we need to make it really authentic. The podcast. I feel like we need to like meet the guest and be like, okay, let's go.
Because just start filming
Right
from
now.
the
There's
moment
so
we walk
much
in.
that,
Yeah.
you know, like organic. I'm so excited about what you're doing, and I'm so excited that you're sitting down with us.
Thanks. Yeah,
We're so
I'm
excited to have
be
you.
here. I always say that we should record the meetings that we have. Like whenever I go into a meeting,
yeah,
I'm like, I just
totally.
want to push record on it.
Yeah.
Because the authentic engagement that we have with other entrepreneurs, and you know, it's amazing to hear kind of that inside scoop.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of funny too? It's just like social media has brought us to a point of we're just really trying to like record all aspects of our life.
Yeah.
Constantly. Like how
Well,
much
put
can
the-
we document?
And people just put the perfect image out there too. It's not like necessarily authentic a lot
Totally.
of time, right?
Well, and that's why we try and cut off our conversations and we're like, save this for the podcast, because then I think we do capture that authentic conversation because we haven't had it twice.
Yeah, true. Very
So
true.
why don't we dive into our Q&A section? Donni, do you want to kick us off with your boss or bust?
Okay, my boss is, and I've kind of used this, but it's so relevant because next week I'm doing the Rise conference in Calgary, and I'm so excited about that because I'm connecting with other women in business. I'm doing it with Miriam and Ashley from Smash and Test, and there's other panelists as well.
They're both super fun, so it's going to be a fun trip.
It's also Miriam's
yeah.
birthday.
Oh,
So,
bonus.
and we're in Calgary, so I'm sure, you know, maybe
Cowboy bar.
something. I'm thinking of the possibilities, but really.
You should order some boots and ship them there.
I think you
should.
should ship boots to your
because I'm in
hotel.
LA and I showed up and I got a little bit purchasey and spendy on the weekend and ordered a few online orders to the hotel because I was like, I can just like not pack so much and ship all my products right to Level where we're staying until I got here and was like, how am I actually going to get a home? Question.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time. Every time I go to New York, I'm like, yes, I can't wait to go browse and go shopping. And then my suitcase is over when I get to the airport.
Oh,
I'm
I
like,
hate
well,
that.
eliminates that.
Yeah, I did that this trip.
But I'm not going to do that in Calgary because I've spent enough now. I'm shopped out. But I am excited about the Rise conference, and I'm hoping we have a lot of Canadian listeners, and I'm hoping I get to meet some of them maybe at the conference.
That would be
Maybe they
really
get
cool.
tickets. Yeah, because I don't actually know if they still have tickets, but
We should post the link in our Facebook group.
Yes.
And then anyone who's going can leave a comment and then we can try and point them in your direction
totally.
At the Cowboy bar.
at the Cowboy. Yeah, we will pin your location at all times.
bull riding night.
Okay, well, my boss this week was really good, and this is so relevant because we just flew in yesterday. I ordered a wine on the flight. I was going to get some work done. And it always makes you a little more creative. So
Totally.
order my wine, and she's like, oh, I don't have the machine on me. I'll come back. She never came back. Free wine. Take that, American Airlines.
Yeah, take that.
That is
Take
boss.
that.
That's $9 you're never going to collect.
Yeah,
That's
that is
right.
a definite win.
Right?
Yeah.
Major boss.
Big
I wasn't any
W.
effort on my part, but I still am taking the
I'm
win.
surprised you walked off the plane without paying though.
I know, it's really like
That's not
unlike
like
Helen.
you.
I really was. I really wanted to bring it up, and I was like, had my credit card ready, and I was like, no.
You were gonna push.
You're
you
so
were gonna
bad,
push the
Leah.
attendant button. You're like,
Yes, I didn't pay. I'm
pay.
that person.
Leah's
But
a
I
bad
still
bitch.
did it.
Sitting in her chair, everyone's off the plane. I need
I'd like to pay.
I cannot get off until I pay.
Well, let
So
me
maybe
tell
that's
you.
the win, is that I didn't actually approach the
That's
stewardess
what
to pay.
I think. I'm
Well, if
telling
you were
flight
looking
attendant.
for customer service on the flight, you were not.
It was
finding
not there.
it.
Oh, it was,
It was
awful.
not there.
It was nowhere to be found.
So I think that's why I did it, because I was like, you guys are awful.
Well, totally.
They
They
were
didn't
so
really deserve
rude.
it. No, completely.
Hold them accountable.
The only thing worse would have been like if they did make you pay and they had like an auto grat tip on that situation.
Like the cab?
I would have like kiboshed
Auto
that.
20% on the cab.
I'm finding auto 20 everywhere.
We were talking about that this morning when we went downstairs to a coffee shop to get breakfast, and it was like Autograt was going on there, like suggested 20%, and I'm like, we're ordering, we're picking it up ourselves, we're going and sitting down, like.
It's not even
It's
suggested 20. It's
Don-
like, would you like to tip 20, 25, or 30? I'm like, what?
Donnie looks
No
at me
choice.
though, and then I'm like, I don't know, like a buck or two, but like you shouldn't even feel bad for leaving nothing. Where I feel like now it's like I feel bad if I don't tip, and then Donnie's like,
Yeah.
I got asked at the gas station in Canada. I'm like, what?
Can
Oh,
I be
that's so
honest
crazy.
too? The service at the coffee shop was atrocious. Like it was absolutely
not
like
good.
like we ordered 3 things we didn't even get, and then we're like, hey, and they're like, oh, did you still want that? I'm like, we ordered it, paid for it, and we didn't get it. What do you mean, do we still want that? Of course I want the croissant. I ordered the croissant. Like,
Maybe people can share with us some places where they've had really good experience, and we can check those out.
It's going to change. It's going to turn around.
We're
for
gonna
us.
turn
We're
this
just
around.
Focus on the positive. 'cause
Yes.
Started at Whole Foods.
We're gonna
The guy
find
was
somewhere.
Yeah.
pushing Elliot around while showing Donnie where the vegan cheese was. I was like, that guy's a good employee.
Shout out to Whole Foods.
Shout out to Whole
Yeah.
Foods.
Katie, what's your boss or bust?
Bus.
Okay.
Surprise, surprise. I stayed at the River Rock for 2 nights before coming to LA. Riley had a cheer competition in Richmond, so we always do like a little staycation with the cheer fam. And let's just say I went gambling both nights and it didn't end well. I'm not going to get into details, but
There goes your shopping fund for LA.
gambling is not my thing, and I tried really hard, and it wasn't the only one. One of my girlfriends won $500, but I was not that person.
That is a bust.
It's a
No
bust.
shopping for you.
Big bust.
Yeah, it's a losing game at the casinos.
Yep. And I tried real hard. I put in a solid effort. We're just going to leave it at that. Solid effort.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amy, where are you at? Boss or bust?
I'm gonna go boss, and boss for us this past week has been launching at Heyday. So we launched
Amazing.
a CBD facial in LA with Heyday, and then we launch April 1 at the 5 locations in New York.
Okay.
So good.
Am I going to look like an idiot if I say what's Heyday? I don't know what Heyday is.
I don't know what
So
it is.
they're bi-coastal.
Okay.
They're skincare experts. They're subscription facial companies.
Oh.
So
Oh, I thought
it's-
they were like a studio.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, they are. Okay, okay.
Not-
That's
not
what I
a
was thinking.
Studio. So they call it shops, not
Shops,
spas
okay.
or treatment centers.
So much more
But they do
inviting.
treatments there, right?
Yeah, so what's unique about them is basically you are fully clothed. It's not like your traditional spa where you go in and you're in the robe and you have your private room. You still have a private room, but you're fully clothed, and you can go on your lunch break and get a facial.
It's
Oh, I
quick.
love that.
Yeah,
Because
so
I love the spa, but who's got time to invest like half a day?
yeah, it's amazing. So you either get a 30, a 50, or a 75-minute facial, and you subscribe and you get it once a month. So it's part of your self-care routine, and
Love that.
it's amazing. Like
agree.
the services are beyond. With the CBD facial in particular, they do a facial massage and they do a honey mask, and yeah,
Oh, I
it's
love that.
incredible.
I want.
Okay, well, if we have time, we're going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the LA one is on Beverly,
Okay.
so really good.
In Beverly Hills.
No, in Los Angeles, so
LA,
like a little
okay.
bit south of West Hollywood.
Okay. That's a great boss. I love that. Donnie, your weekly obsession.
Okay, this is kind of cheesy, but my weekly obsession is Elliot's ponytail.
Oh my God.
I love it.
It's not cheesy. It's cute.
It's so cute, and she's just, it's the first time I could get, fit a bunch of hair together in a hair
It's
elastic.
like a little rascal.
She looks
Yes.
like alfalfa. It's just I'm obsessed with it. I feel like she's so cute as it is, but she is 1,000% cuter. I'm can't get enough of her
Cute.
when she
Oh,
has her
so
ponytail
cute.
in.
Yeah. I
And she
agree.
is such a little rascal lately, so it's just brings it to that cute level that you're reminds you why you love her so much.
You're crazy, but so cute.
Why is your voice so loud on the airplane? And The guy in front of me is literally going to kill me if you scream one more time.
That's funny.
He just needs to chill.
Yes.
My weekly obsession, which no one is going to be surprised with because I've had 2 today, is a lemon ginger cayenne shot. I love them.
Next level.
Love them.
I thought you were going to say the hot sake from last night.
Well, that's an obsession always.
Yeah. Leah and I agreed we're going to drink hot sake every night on this
I
trip.
was just gonna say I could go for some.
We're down.
Do you know I've never had sake?
Okay. We need to call the sushi restaurant right now.
We
'cause I
could-
think
they
deliver
do-
up to the room.
They deliver to our room. I wonder if they could keep the sake hot.
We have 2 more podcasts after this. We're just totally like lit right
It's
now.
gonna get messy.
But sake drunk is like different because it's just like really chill and
very
mellow.
social.
Super happy.
Super relaxed.
It's very nice. Katie, obsession.
My weekly obsession this week would have to be Dirty John on Netflix. Have you seen it?
No, they had a big billboard up at
Okay.
Sunset in La Cienega.
So for people who are avid listeners will know my ex-boyfriend is exactly like Dirty John. And I'm not even joking. And it actually is like kind of terrifying when I watch it. But like
Yeah.
it really hit home when I watched it. I know a couple other narcissists in my life close to me. And it's like, honestly, if I can just say one thing, like everyone should watch it just to know what a narcissist is because
Everybody knows one.
everybody
Like,
knows.
it's
Oh,
one,
yeah.
for
Kind of a
sure.
buzzword right now is narcissism. I feel like it's something that like I didn't really know what it was 10 years ago.
I knew that type of person. I just didn't realize that's what it was.
couldn't
And now
put-
that I'm like connecting it all, they're very dangerous people.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
dangerous.
You need to watch the show.
Yeah, you're making me want to watch it.
Yeah,
I
it sounds so
actually,
interesting.
I'm not a big TV watcher at all, and I binge watched 5 episodes in one night. I was tired all last week because of Dirty John.
Yeah, there's a couple of people I know too that have been like affected by people like that, and I'm like, you need to go watch the show. It's like healing, and it's like has a lot of information in it, and you need to go watch it. And they're like, really? And then they like Google it, and they're like, you think I need to watch this? I'm like, you need to watch this, my friend.
It's not
Wow.
always the narcissist, it's the people dealing with them, not understanding the strength of what the person is
And
actually
not
doing to
understanding
them.
what you're dealing with
Yeah.
at all, you know?
Well,
Wow.
you just stole my current obsession from my next podcast.
I knew
so
it was
thanks a
one
lot,
of
Katie.
yours.
Back to the drawing board. Amy, where are you at with current obsessions this week?
So actually, I'm not a big TV watcher either, and I've been into Suits.
Oh, it's
Oh,
yeah,
it's
that's
so
a good
good.
one.
Where are you at?
Episode 5,
Season 1.
You have so much ahead of you.
You have so much
Yes.
ahead. Oh.
Yeah, but it's
I'm
so
jealous.
interesting. And like Meghan Markle, I didn't know that she was that talented.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Here I am watching her like marry the prince, and
Yeah.
now I see her in action. She's so powerful. I'm just
I
like
Her
really
part-
proud.
Meghan Markle.
Her
Yeah.
part is written so cool. I mean, everyone loves Donna, of course, because
Donna's
she's such
the
a
best.
central
Donna.
part. But Megan's character is so important as well, and she's written really powerfully. I love it. Wait till you go through it. She gets
It kind
better.
of upsets me that she's like given up her acting now to marry.
Pretty
I
sure
know.
she didn't have a choice.
Too.
But like she's so good.
I
And
know.
I
She is,
enjoy
yeah.
watching her so
But not
much.
only that, she had such a like an aspirational like blogging career. Her blog was
Oh,
really
the TIG
cool.
was amazing.
She had like really great clothing endorsements. Like she had
beautiful.
a really, really great business and like personal brand.
Yep.
And she sacrificed all of it.
Do you think she'll feel like a caged animal eventually?
I mean, I would, but also like Prince Harry seems pretty fun.
And her education is in international relations, and that's something that she had always done aside from acting.
True.
So I would think that as long as she's having that stimulation of doing international relations and appearances and
Totally.
speeches, you can probably satisfy that part of you still.
She's trying a different aspect of herself as well. She's going to have children and do
Yeah.
the family thing. I mean, she's
Maybe she'll want to be like a
Royalty.
full-time mom. Like,
totally, yeah.
you
But,
never know how that'll
pretty
change.
cool. Okay, top 3 on Suits: Meghan Markle, Donna, and Louis Litt.
Ew,
I love
I
his
know.
character.
You're
a
only in
love-hate.
season 1. You'll get to love
He's
Louis.
so funny. Like you just get
He's really
the
hilarious.
character is just very well written.
I
think.
still love Scotty forever. I
Oh, yeah.
love Scotty. She's
Yeah.
the best.
She's like boss babe crush.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of, who's yours?
My boss babe crush, Jacqueline Johnson.
Yeah.
She founded Create and Cultivate. That's when I originally found out about her. But she's such a boss, and she's launched her podcast. And I haven't actually listened to any of them yet, but I follow her on social, and I just am always inspired and like tossing likes out at her posts. And I think that she's really someone who's going to make a big difference.
I think
for
so
women.
too. I agree. My boss babe crush, I'm switching it up. I'm going major fashion. Karl Lagerfeld.
Oh yeah.
Have to shout him out. Of course we have to shout him out.
So you put that one out of your back pocket.
You chose a guy. I'm the only one. I always pick men.
I just feel like he's such an impact in the fashion industry as a whole, and with him passing away, how can we not talk about him?
Well, also like with him passing away, there were so many memes and quotes being posted on the internet, and like so many good ones. Like,
There's so many good
There was one I heard the other day. What was it? Let me try to dig it up out of my brain.
There was one where he talks about being boring. And I loved that one. We'll find it and share it.
That is the one I'm talking about. He's like,
I love
can't.
it.
Okay, you can't be fake and be something and be fashion. You can't be fake and be fashionable, but you can be fashionable and wear fake fur. No, that's not boring. But
That's a different quote.
That's good though.
That's what he said. And I was like, wow,
It's a different one.
that's so impactful.
I'll find the one that I mean and we'll share it in our Facebook group. But man, how many of his bags do you own? Like he's
Not
such,
enough, but
he's
only
such an
2.
impactful designer though, right? But like those are bags that you will cherish forever.
And you know what? The brand is just so classic. Like it's
That's
not going anywhere. It is a forever brand, and it has truly made a mark on the whole fashion industry. So I think,
and you own art now. Like you own bags that have just quadrupled in value.
They do.
It's art.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Good one.
Shout him out.
Good one.
Elliot
Katie.
better appreciate those.
She better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, you have to pass them down.
Oh yeah. Well, bags only get better
They do.
with age.
Katie, boss babe crush.
I'm gonna have to throw it out to PRIV Babe Kate.
Yeah.
I am just absolutely like so impressed about this trip. She has pretty much been like the leader of everything.
Yeah.
And I think she's done an amazing job.
Coordinating the
Agreed.
lineup and
Yeah.
creating the relationships. Yeah, she's really killing it.
Yeah. Agreed. It's going to be an amazing week.
Skin coat.
And we get to see
Skin
her
coat.
beautiful face every day in
Yeah.
LA.
Agreed.
We always are crushing. I'm just filling our guest in. We always are crushing on Caitlin. Like as an office, we're always like, your lips, your face, your skin.
Can't stop staring at you.
You're so pretty, Caitlin.
Look at her sitting there in the beautiful light of our
And she's like
near
so
pen.
soft spoken.
just such a sweetheart. Amy, who's yours? Boss babe
So,
crush.
I actually caught up on the Grammys this week, and I'd have to say Alicia Keys really
love
killed
her.
it. And
Yes.
you know, just
She's
someone
timeless.
that's so versatile and poised, but yet you can see this genuine, like authentic nature, especially
Yeah.
when she's doing something as big as the Grammys.
Yeah.
And to see her talent exposed with like playing dual pianos.
Yeah.
Just like never
I didn't
ceases
see
to
it.
amaze
And
me.
even you have to go watch it. And even it's worth mentioning that she has taken a stand about natural beauty and no Photoshop. She still has not worn makeup.
Really?
It's been years.
So she wasn't wearing makeup at the Grammys?
No.
She doesn't wear
Like
makeup.
maybe lip balm.
I don't know if I don't know if that's true. Is that true?
That's what I read.
Really?
That she was wearing no makeup. We
I
should
love
look.
that.
We'll look up photos. But she took a stand against it a long time ago, and just, I think her quote was something like, "It didn't feel authentic to her anymore to hide herself."
Yeah.
And then she has stuck with that.
I know on The Voice she didn't wear makeup. And you know, that is
I
a
think
big
she's stuck
statement.
with it.
And I loved how Swiss Beats, her husband, was like in the audience, just like
Yeah.
in complete adoration of her.
Yeah, that's so good.
Just really like that.
I gotta
That's an
watch
amazing
this.
She's
boss
very
babe.
I'd be really into
powerful.
that.
Yeah, you should watch it, Donnie. It's really worth.
She played two pianos?
At the
Side
same
by side.
time. Like
it was,
this.
It was incredible.
No.
Yeah.
I know what we're doing one night this week.
Let's try that.
You know what we're
Like,
doing
no,
immediately after this
watching.
podcast?
I'm like just like mid manifesting the piano that I'm
Donni.
getting.
You could do that.
Well, I mean, like
You'd have to practice, but you could do it.
I could try.
Okay, I'd like to see
I
this.
do
She
play the
does
piano.
very well.
I want to see this.
Well,
We
I
need to
haven't had a piano
replicate
for
it.
years. I'm like need to get one, but Ev's like having a absolute fit about the color of the piano that I've like inherited. It's another conversation.
You need to get two. Alicia was playing a white one and a black
So
one.
wait
I
till I
think.
tell him
Solves
that.
the problem.
That's right.
Just start with maybe one and a keyboard. I have a keyboard. You can borrow it. You know, or we can hack it together.
Hey,
for
there's
the
a
time
new
being.
thing actually. It's like a rollout keyboard. Have you seen these?
No.
Oh, where did I see this on social media somewhere?
Oh, that's
It's
gotta be
literally
full
rolls
digital.
out and it's like fully digital.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like really cool that you could just put it on a desk and like
yeah.
Totally.
I don't know if
That's
people
great
who
for
didn't have
practice.
the money for a piano could
Yeah.
do it. It was pretty cool.
Or the space.
We're just gonna get two of those and play them right here.
Perfect.
Okay, challenge accepted
Tangent.
on your behalf. What's one thing you're working on improving this week, Donni?
Okay, so one of the things I'm working on is not saying super so much.
Ooh.
I never noticed you really said it that much.
My brother brought it to my attention. I didn't know he was listening to the podcast, but he was. And he's like, just text me randomly. He goes, try not to say super so much on the podcast, okay? Like, thanks, Tips.
Oh, I've never noticed that.
Apparently, I say it all the time. I'm super excited about this. I've noticed now since he brought it to my
noticed
attention.
you say literally a lot, but everyone does.
say
Everyone
literally.
says literally.
So maybe just
Do you
add that
listen
one in
back
there.
to the episodes and like
No.
critique yourself? So my husband was on the radio, on ESPN radio. He listened to every episode back and would like pick up little things like that and then self-correct. And actually Bob Costas, who's like one of the best broadcasters ever.
Yeah.
He did it too. Everything that he did.
So you think
he
it's good
redid
to
it.
listen back?
It is
I
good.
don't know.
If you're
I mean,
strong enough to handle it, I think it would be a good thing to do.
Maybe occasionally, not every episode, but
Not
maybe
every episode.
occasionally, like once a month, and then you can be like, okay, you know what? I don't like that about myself. I would like to work
I'm
on that.
going to challenge myself on working on this to listen to a couple episodes of PRIV Talks.
Listen to it with your kids in the car. They'll give you great advice. I could just imagine Emerson.
We're on the same page.
Or maybe some of our listeners have some good advice for me in the way words that I repeat, but it's really
Constructive
hard.
criticism.
Yeah,
We'll take
constructive
it.
criticism is always welcomed.
It's hard
to take.
and just don't leave it on the iTunes reviews, please. But
Share it in our Facebook group. We really welcome it there.
our private Facebook group.
DM us.
It's hard to listen to your voice, period. I think
really
everybody
hard.
has a hard time with that.
And you can't change your voice, but maybe you can change your tone or your intonation or your cadence. Yeah.
All right.
I'll do that with you. I'll join you on that.
Super.
You don't look very
Super.
thrilled to be working on
Just put it on the list of things I'm working on.
Oh no. One thing I'm working on improving this week is being really present in every moment and not like wishing away a moment to like the next thing. Or we have some exciting trips this year, so I'm trying not to get too attached to getting to those trips, just enjoying the anticipation of the trip. And then also not being caught up in the past, just kind of finding a bit of more of a presence in today. Also, because I struggle with anxiety, I think that would be really helpful to just be not worrying about what's next or like
For sure. Live in the
rethinking
moment.
everything I've done in the past, just totally
Well, also
being
like,
in today.
like being present to see if a situation is fueling you or not, even, right? If you're not present, you can't really be self-aware to either change your current situation or not, right?
Totally.
Like sometimes if I'm not present, I'll be like, why am I not present? Is it because I'm not happy with what I'm doing and I need to make a change?
Yeah.
But it's so easy to coast through life and just kind of miss some of those things that could be triggers.
I just find time is going so fast, and every month it's like, oh, it's a new month. Where did January go? I don't want to feel like that. I want to be like, you know what?
Same feeling lately, and I'm really vibing what you're saying right now.
Yeah, let's keep each other accountable. I just feel like if you can enjoy each moment, you can be like, oh, it's February. Wow, that's crazy. But I really enjoyed every moment of January that I had.
Yeah. And
Maybe
you could
it'll make
spend
it
so
feel-
much energy being excited for June and then just wishing away every moment from now until then.
Exactly what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm going to be working on.
It's good.
Well, I'm going to be working on, I've been really sick the last like
Months.
6 weeks. I don't know. I've been on a lot of medications and stuff like that. I want to roll into, I was talking to Donni earlier about like, I had a really bad headache today, probably because I like rode the elevator a little bit too much. I forgot to swipe my key. We're staying on like the 31st floor, and Donni and I
Rode
are
the
like,
elevator.
forget to swipe the key, and we'll go down to the lobby, then up to 30, like we're
Like that's
bungee
a lot
jumping.
of gravity right there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, your ears pop
So
so
I
many
had a
times.
really bad headache today and tried to ride it out all day, and then finally I'm like, no, I'm taking 2 Tylenol. But I want to like get out from like reaching for the Tylenol bottle or the Advil bottle because my back hurts or my head hurts
So
or whatever.
easy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe start taking a little bit more CBD,
Yeah, we need to get down
I think
that
that's a great idea.
right?
I know I need some of that for my pain.
So, I mean, it's a little hard to necessarily travel with, obviously, but just like getting more knowledge about where I can get my hands on it.
That
when
was
I
a
am
good
traveling.
segue.
That's a really good segue. Okay,
Boom.
but that I still want to hear what Amy's working on this week,
I'm really
and then let's
working
dive
on
into that
getting
topic.
more people to try CBD.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
I like it.
No, but really, I'm working on taking the business to the next level.
Yeah.
We have some large rollouts happening right now, and it's really working through those growing pains and kind of uncharted territory and still remaining steadfast and organized with everything. I always have like 3 areas of what I call bleed that I have listed out in the company, and those are areas where I see a need for improvement, or perhaps we're bleeding like money. And so I always like to keep my eye on where those areas are and kind of shore them up as quickly as possible. And especially when we're looking at large rollouts, there are areas that we haven't tapped into or executed in before. And so just making sure that we do it in a fiscally responsible manner. So that's my focus for this week.
I like that. I think that's so good.
That's a really good areas of bleed. That's I haven't heard anybody reference that on the
that's
podcast
a
or
good
even
way
in
to phrase
business.
it.
But that's from an entrepreneur's perspective of always taking on new areas or projects or like expanding in different categories. You have to spend an equal amount of time reflecting on categories that might not be working and clearing up those areas of bleed. That really puts it into perspective.
Yeah. I love that. Let's dive into your business. Tell us a bit about who you are and what you're doing.
Finally. I was like, don't tell me anything.
I know.
Don't tell me anything until recording.
So hard not to talk about it.
Yeah, so Mowellens launched it a year ago, March 6th now, which is crazy. Yeah. We're a CBD wellness company. Basically, we manufacture CBD products, clean, pure CBD products, looking at both the cannabinoid and terpene profile of the CBD that we use, but also looking at the other ingredients that go into every product that we manufacture. So we make edibles, we make topicals, all in the hemp CBD space. So not marijuana, you can buy it online, not in a dispensary. And that's Mowellens in a nutshell.
I feel like, should we talk about the different, like the maybe misconceptions? Should we start there?
Yeah.
With like
Absolutely.
why is CBD important in your opinion? And then what are some misconceptions with it?
Yeah, so originally I got into the industry, again, came from the genetics, the biotech space, was running a genetics lab, and my background was all healthcare, like very strict traditional healthcare. And I was in the summer of 2016, I was studying cannabis to become a cannabis testing laboratory. So we were looking at developing a new service line in the lab. And so I was looking at methodology and validation to test for clean, pure products, and really started diving into the plant from a deep scientific level. And then in the summer of 16, had spent about 6 months doing that. And then in October of that year, my husband's brain tumor returned. And when it returned, I ended up walking away from the lab to start the company. And I did that for a few reasons. I always had this entrepreneurial vision, but also I would do a lot of due diligence in the industry and see what other companies were doing at that time. And it was very much an industry in its infancy. So, we feel like it's kind of this gray area, wild, wild west at times with all these brands popping up. But in 2016, it was even worse.
And regulation doesn't really keep up to that when there's that much growth in an industry. Exactly.
So I was looking at, how can I really provide someone of my demographic, my target audience, which is someone interested in the self-care and taking care of their family, mostly women, because they make 85% of healthcare decisions in the family. And how can I provide them something that's trustworthy? So I think CBD in general, the stigma around it, there's a lot of miseducation, if you will, around what is hemp, what is marijuana, what is CBD, and kind of creating a path that was clear and transparent and simplified this complex industry. That was our mission. And by collaborating and aligning with brands like Heyday and Urban Outfitters and, people who have that root, already established, it really solidifies the trust in the brand that we created.
Totally. So I have so many questions about what you just said. First of all, I want to hear more about your husband's situation and how that affected you. Because from an entrepreneurial perspective, like that is a crazy time to be starting a business when you're going through something traumatic like that.
Yeah, it was really, really hard. I think when he was diagnosed a year after we were married, so we were married in 2012, and then he was diagnosed in 13. And a year after he was diagnosed, so every 4 to 6 weeks he would get an MRI. So we would just hope that it wasn't back. Yeah, so really living in like intervals of time. So you bring up being like present in the moment. That is all that I know. I have never like looked at planning my future with children and like vacations and things like that, because I only had a 4 to 6 week interval to live in. So yeah, planning a business and starting a business when that's happening, it was gone for 4 years, but when it came back, the life was turned upside down once again.
Were you doing it to try to help him though? Was that initially your goal, was like, I want to create a product that's going to help him?
So yes and no. Being from the healthcare industry, I knew what I know what it takes to get an FDA approved pharmaceutical on the market, and that's, millions of dollars and years of clinical trials. And I also knew that in the wellness space, you can't make medical claims. So as much as I wanted to, quote unquote, help him with like seizures and side effects of chemotherapy, nausea and vomiting, I knew that the products I would create were more so helping with, your day-to-day stresses, because that's what we can say. So yes, I think in general, he lived a very healthy life. He always like no desserts, no sweets, and plant-based, and no alcohol. But CBD was something that would more so help bring his body into balance, not necessarily like cure seizures or cancer. But yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. That's a huge backstory that brings you into a really intentional business now.
Yeah, and I think to walk away from the lab and start the business was controversial in my relationship. It was like already an unstable time for him. And then to say, oh, hey, I'm leaving this very stable job. I'm going to join you in this instability and start a business. And it took me 11 months. So after he was diagnosed, after the cancer reoccurred, I should say, it took 11 months. So I walked away from, a stable salary to take my savings and invest in myself.
Do you think that though that's because you saw like what is fleeting, which is the present, right? So it's like you're like, I don't see a secure future for what we tell ourselves is out there. So I have this inner drive to do it. The time is now.
Definitely. I mean, after it happened twice, it was like nothing else is going to be taken from me outside of my control. Like things that I want to do in life that I have control of, I need to do them right now, because tomorrow it may not be the same.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, agreed.
About the CBD though, so what are you've touched on them a little bit, but what are the main goals of creating these CBD products?
I think everyone should take CBD in their lifetime, because we do have what's called an endocannabinoid system in our body that has receptors really throughout so many different systems in our body, which would be like the nervous system, the digestive, the endocrine. And we have this untapped resource, if you will. And we found that CBD, and the industry really has found that CBD works with those receptors. So when we're feeling off and we're taking ibuprofen or Advil and an adaptogen or a synthetic hormone, something that's going to regulate whatever is happening with us, CBD is really this phytocannabinoid, so it's a plant-based alternative. So if we can resort to something like that in lieu of or in tandem to a traditional pharmaceutical, I think all the better.
And it will not make you high.
Correct.
One of the major things it does is it's an anti-inflammatory, right? And I've been reading a lot of things, like a lot of issues in my body are all based on inflammation. And if you can bring the inflammation down, you bring the pain down, everything like that. And that has a major factor in CBD, right?
Yeah, so there are receptors like TRPV1 or PPAR, some of these receptors in our body where the CBD actually works as like a lock and key. Those receptors then regulate things like inflammation and appetite and mood. So yes, anti-inflammatory is one of the things that is documented that CBD helps with. However, when we make that claim as a company, we fall into diagnosing, treating, or curing. And so that's why you don't hear a lot of CBD companies really hammering on that clinical evidence.
Because
Which
you
is
just
That's
can't
too
get it.
bad.
It's just
so
regulation,
unfortunate.
though. It's just the
Yeah.
studies have to catch up to what we're finding.
Exactly.
I won't call her out by name because I don't know if she would want me to, but I do know someone very close to me that uses CBD cream for like rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah.
And she's like, I have been on medications for 30 years for this and nothing has worked as well as this cream.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
So
That's an amazing result. I
That
wish you
is.
could actually publicize that and talk about those claims.
and there's like seizure, like there's a ton of evidence of CBD helping all these different things. Now, my question is, how much is too much? Like now it's a buzzword. So everyone's CBD this. Like, how do I understand whether I need like a CBD balm or CBD capsules or what? Like,
Or can you use it all?
or can I? Or it's just like there's never too much.
Yeah, you're not going to take too much, but we do say start small. And it's really based on your preference, whether you're okay with taking an ingestible or whether you'd prefer to start with a topical. There's such a risk-averse nature in some of us that, we do think no matter how many times I say that it's not going to get you high, it still is a question that we
Absolutely. I'm
you
still
know?
I'm like skeptical about it.
Yeah.
All the time. I'm like, okay,
The
but
CBD
really?
lip balm has my lips feeling amazing. I believe Donni said one time.
So, like, in that
Your
case,
lips are feeling
you
silly
may
right
be-
now.
You may want to try the topical first and kind of like, ease into it that way. It's really great for the skin in general.
Okay, so my question would be, what do you use?
I use Inner Peace in the mornings in like my coffee or tea. And then I love the One for All, which is the topical oil. I use
Okay.
it on my face. Yeah.
Okay.
And I also mix it into different skincare. So like I love the May Lindstrom, the Blue Cocoon, right? And so I'll like put a few drops into that and mix it together and put it on.
What are the main benefits in skincare?
So it's full of antioxidants, so great for anti-aging, great for inflammation.
Antibacterial.
Well,
right?
antibacterial, and then with the honey in particular, honey has that additional, antibacterial properties. So just very nourishing, hydrating.
It's like everything you want in an anti-aging skincare routine. So you add that to your own cream.
Yeah. So there's a few different ways. I usually bring like some samples of what CBD looks like in its raw form.
Oh,
Actually have
interesting.
some.
Well, you brought us this
Yeah.
THC-free Inner Peace. This is what you say you put in your coffee?
Yeah, so that's actually our best seller, and it's kind of like my baby because coming from the lab industry, what we do with that product is we nano blend it. So it's not like your traditional oil blend where, you put the drops in, it's very oily, sits on the top of your water, your beverage. This is actually water soluble, so it dissolves into your water. You're not going to taste it.
So this is not for my skin that I'm putting it on my hand right now, but this is for digesting.
Correct. But
Donnie's been putting this on her hand.
Heyday uses that on the skin.
Okay.
So what they do is they mix that with a carrier oil, with a facial oil. It actually reverses like the nano blend properties, but so when you nano blend something, it makes it very available, easy to digest and absorb in the body. So unlike having the CBD molecule in its full size and your body having to go through like the natural metabolism process in the liver, this actually starts absorbing into the tissues in our mouth and our
If I add it,
esophagus, like
if
very
I put it right
easily.
on my tongue, would that be bad?
You want to put it under your tongue, but you can put it on your tongue.
I put it under. Okay.
Donni has a very low drug tolerance. That's all I'm going to
How
say.
much did you put in? Do you know?
The whole thing? No, not the whole bottle, but like the whole
Like a
cap-
dropper.
The whole
Yeah,
dropper.
let me see. Perfect.
You're supposed
So
to do
with
one
this,
drop?
yeah, you just need 1 or 2 drops.
Oh, I put like for sure 5.
You did 3. You're good.
So like what's gonna happen?
We may
to
not
me
hear
now?
from Donni for a few. I'm kidding.
It will not make me high, right?
No, it will not make you high. It's actually just going to like give you a focused, productive energy. It'll probably lock you in. You'll probably feel
Sounds great.
You'll feel very productive, but it'll also take the edge off, so you won't feel like uptight. You'll just be very zoned in on what you're doing.
Can I ask?
You need that in your life, Donni.
All the time, right?
All the time.
Can I ask you a personal question? I know, like, probably based on your business towards children, everything on your website says it's for adults. Do you have a personal opinion about CBD with children? Because once again, I'm on my way. My daughter's been sick like me, and then she got better. All of a sudden, she's sick again. While we're here, I'm on my way to CVS. I'm getting Tylenol, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, she gets croup, which is inflammation, like...
So I have
personal opinion.
Yeah, my personal opinion is if I had children, I would much rather give them a plant-based solution rather than a pharmaceutical.
Like this.
Yeah. And I think that happens with, like, not only like the common cold, but the Adderall and the Ritalin that's prescribed. Yeah, my nephew was on Ritalin, and I tried to get my sister so many years, you know, to be on a pharmaceutical from a young age to your adult years. I don't think it's right.
No, completely. I totally agree.
Well, it's not good for
unless
your
it's
organs.
required, you know, which there are situations where, you know.
Well, there's also situations where, like, is it a problem or is it just a problem for the social norm?
Right.
Right? Like, what some of these kids are struggling with is fine and might actually totally work for them in their life, but like maybe it's not good for a classroom.
Or could there be like a marriage between the pharmaceutical and the CBD, so it's not 100% pharmaceutical, like easing off a little bit?
I think that we should think of it as, like, you know, more so of an adaptogen or a collagen or a, like, even a turmeric capsule, things like that. And if we put it in that category, we're not questioning so much of, like, do you accept it with children, or do you accept it as, like, you know, in this circumstance? It's like, well, would you take, you know, maca, or would you take reishi, and would you give that to your child in low doses? I think it's better to kind of look at it from that angle.
Totally. And looking at it as more of like a daily lifestyle instead of this like miracle drug that's going to come in and you're just going to go crazy with and like add it to every facet of your life. Like, what if I just like use it as a tool?
Yeah. I call it meditation in a bottle. So, like, we don't all have 5, even 20 minutes to meditate.
Yeah.
But if we can take a few drops of CBD and kind of, you know, get us into our day or eliminate that stress, that cough, whatever it may be, that brings us back to balance, I would say that's what it does.
Brings us back to balance. That's really cute. I like that. What do you guys ship online?
We do.
International?
Not
US,
international,
right?
so we're not in
So
Canada
this is such
yet.
like a gray area right now because of all the regulation.
So we have the ability to go into Canada. It's just that when we're a year in, you know, I'm hesitant to spread things too thin here. This is all self-funded, and we're fine. You know, we're doing very well financially as a company, and I just know that we've barely scratched the surface here. And we get requests from Canada all the time, actually.
I bet you do. It's really, really popular.
There's some great brands there too.
So what as a consumer should someone be looking for, especially if they are outside of the US and they can't necessarily order your products? What do you look for?
Yeah, because there are so many brands.
There's
now,
so many.
right?
Yeah.
How do you
And
sift
it's,
through it?
like she said, it's a wild, wild west.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's like, how do I know I'm getting a clean product?
Yeah. Lab testing is going to tell you whether your product is clean, because lab testing is obviously my background. So looking at a cannabinoid and terpene profile, looking at residual solvents, microbials, heavy metals, getting that lab profile from the lab and from the company that's manufacturing the products is key. And then knowing how much CBD is actually in the product, because just because it says 1,300 milligrams of hemp doesn't mean that's all CBD. So then you revert back to the lab report, which will say like 20% of that 1,300 is CBD. Then you can do the math and find out how to calculate your dose.
Right.
So why skincare? Like, what is it going to do for our skin? Like, what kind of results are we going to see by implementing it into our skin?
Very good for hydration. And then it's actually, I call it an optimizer. So if you have skincare products that you love right now, it actually takes those actives in the products deeper into the skin.
So like
Because
absorption.
it's already in your body, so it's just like recognizes it and pulls it deeper.
Exactly.
Oh.
I love it.
I like can't get enough of this.
No,
Yeah.
I can't either.
And the products are very versatile in that, like you asked, is this an ingestible and I'm putting it on my skin, and really it can go both ways. And that's what I love about Inner Peace in particular.
The one product that really stood out to me on your guys' website when I was looking at it was the honey. And I really wanted to try the honey. And that one, like, you could put it, cooking with it just makes it so easy, right?
Any
Drizzle it on
salad
top of
dressing,
your yogurt. Yeah,
fruit,
salad dressing.
granola, oatmeal.
Yeah.
And then you can put that one on the skin too in a mask by mixing it with like a little clay or a little mask that you already have.
Well, that was one of the things I actually grabbed from the pharmacy, or no, from Whole Foods, was like a really good, expensive, it was $25 jar of honey.
Oh, that's why the grocery bill was so much.
But a quality honey
But-
makes a big difference.
Totally. You
I,
want it
I honestly believe that,
Yeah.
and if that's what I'm using for a cough suppressant right now,
Totally.
like,
well, what are you going to spend on a pharmaceutical?
exactly.
Let's look at
Oh, yeah.
the expenditures in that category. It's like you think of it as a necessity, but what if our food could actually...
Well, it's the same
us
thing
a bit of
Melissa
that.
was sharing with us on her podcast, is like, you want to look at things of prevention and helping yourself be the best you can be from the beginning, and making sure you're putting quality in and on your body.
I'm just thinking about how I can get this to Canada.
I know. I can see your brain
Take it
turning.
home with you.
I can see your brain
yeah,
turning.
there's just...
So it's made it to, let's see, a few pictures we've gotten from like Barbados and
Wow.
Lima, Peru.
Because we're legalized now. In
We are, but
BC.
you still cannot take it over
Can't
the
travel
border.
across the border with
Yeah.
it.
You
but
will be
Could
arrested.
we sell it at Privilege?
Well, that's what I'm like, well, how would you actually, like, if...
Oh yeah, how can you import it as a wholesaler?
Yeah, how can you import
That's
it?
true.
Well,
Amy,
once
which
we
is-
navigate that with Urban, I'll let you know.
Because
Yes,
so you're
let
working
us
with Urban
know.
Outfitters, which is such a boss. Like, they're such a great company, and that's amazing. But how could we potentially, like, we sell a lot of skincare and things like that. Like, how could we offer this to our listeners?
Do you distribute in the U.S. or out of Canada?
We out of Canada.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about it.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Talking about teams, though, we had a really brief conversation that we started about the isolation of working with teams that are remote. It's a double-edged sword sometimes, as you were saying, because you can hire the best and the right people for your business, but then you miss that team aspect.
Oh, yes. I
Yeah.
love this topic.
Yeah, coming from the lab, I had a team of 120 salespeople and roughly 50 in-house. So it's like the family, you know, every day woke up, went into the office, and everyone was there with their stories and, you know, their personal life challenges and successes, and then to go to running your own company. And I love giving people freedom. So we have Aaron, who's in Chicago, and Eric is in Irvine, and Erica's in LA. And, you know, the people that
You do a lot of outsourcing.
yeah, we outsource the content creation social, and that's happening in Canada actually. Yeah,
Amazing.
but it's like, where's my people? You know, oftentimes it's very lonely when you get out of bed and you're like, you want that connection to
Or sometimes those
community.
organic conversations where you're just like bouncing ideas off of people, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, that was something we were talking. This came from the conversation of talking about how it can be really lonely running your own business.
Very lonely.
And also, like, even if you do have a team, sometimes you can't share specific struggles that you're going through. It's one thing that the podcast has really done for me is connecting with like-minded entrepreneurs that you really bounce ideas off. And it's like, oh, wow, I'm not the only person dealing with these struggles. Because it does feel like that sometimes.
Yeah, and as the sole founder, you know, I really don't have that community. And like you said, you can't really bounce that off of your employees. You know, you want to keep some things kind of behind the curtain. And you know, I have good friends and community of women entrepreneurs around me, and even some male entrepreneurs around me, and that helps, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'm an introvert, so like reading a lot and just like reading other people's founders' stories or listening to podcasts, you know, you start to relate to other people in that way.
You don't have to be sitting in front of someone or physically around people to feel like you can relate to someone. And I think that's the beauty of a podcast. And we get that feedback a lot of the time from our listeners is like, oh, it just made me feel less alone and like I could relate, and there was someone else going through the same thing somewhere in the world.
Because it's easy to see other businesses' success stories. And that might be like discouraging if you're going through a hard time or something that's like, you know, a point of resistance, I always call it. But you're not alone. It's just like business owners aren't highlighting those problems along the way. You're not seeing that on the billboard. You're not seeing that on Instagram.
No.
That's not on the Instagram highlight reel.
It's funny because I was at the Good Fest event this weekend, and I was speaking on the panel. And I remember when I used to go to those events, like the wellness events, and listen to the people on the panel. And I still do go to some, but it was always like this high level discussion. And I'd walk out of there with like a strategy or maybe like a quote that I enjoyed. But really what I wanted was that like in-depth success or failure. So now when I go speak on the panels, I'm like telling them about how, you know, I didn't know whether $250 was a lot to pay for shipping from the customs facility. And so I rented a 16-foot U-Haul and I drove with my blonde hair and like my little self. And, you know, it's little things like that. Yeah. And then the axle breaks and I'm like driving through the lot with like 18 wheelers all around me. And I'm in the rented U-Haul and everybody's just looking at me like, oh,
you should have paid the $250.
You are hitting the nail on the head.
I should have paid the $250.
Have you ever driven the U-Haul into an underground parkade and hit the top of it?
No.
Because I have.
Not speaking from experience.
Asking for a friend.
But if you backed it up into a loading zone properly and put the thing, what's the thing, Leah?
The lift gate.
Oh,
The lift gate or like that.
Yeah, like that little bridge that pulls out the back.
Oh, the loading dock.
You mean the power one,
things.
Katie?
Yes,
Yes,
the
the lift
power
gate.
one.
Katie
'Cause I
was
did
like a boss. So she's like, "How do you get this gate to work?" I'm like, "It's right here on the wall." She's like, "Done," and she just nails it.
Yeah, similar situation when you're in the lot that usually is accustomed to 18 wheelers, you know.
Yeah.
You back your U-Haul up into the loading dock. It's like 10 feet high and your dock is like 2
Yes.
feet off the ground.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, this isn't going to work.
The things you learn.
Nobody talks about those things.
No, that's not like on my social media. Well, actually it was on my social media story that day.
But if that's what you needed to hear, that's what you need to give your, you know, because there will be somebody following you and that's the change that you can
Yeah, it's just like keep going and don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Like telling the story. I mean, I'll tell you all the failures, you know, and I think that's what gives people the inspiration to like keep every step, like just enjoy every step of the journey.
Yeah.
But you have to, because if you're not enjoying it, you better
if you
not
don't
be
enjoy
doing
the
it.
journey,
Don't do
you
it.
should not be an entrepreneur.
Can you tell us what's coming up with your company? Anything in the works that you can share?
Well, we're going to roll out with 2 other national retailers and really they're collaborations. So that's really exciting. You'll hear more about those.
Share
in
when
like
you
a
can.
month.
All
Yeah.
right.
We're making 2 new products right now. One is it's a honey mask, a true honey mask. And we're also making a serum, a face serum.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's
I love
really
serums.
nice.
So into that.
Oh.
And then I'm also working on, so I now run an incubator that basically we take brands and kind of catapult them, whether that's in creative design or whether it's distribution, but taking the experience from both the science side of CBD and also just building a company over the last year and really helping other brands either get up and going or kind of taking them to the next level. And I'm launching another brand in June or July called Sneaky Peach. And it's basically periods and pleasure.
Oh.
And so it's like women's sexual wellness. It's in the
And
CBD,
it's CBD.
space.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's exciting, and that'll be something that all women can really relate to.
Just a couple things happening in your world.
Yeah, I love building things. You
So
know?
are those brands, is
I
that a
can
brand
tell.
that you're starting by yourself or you've partnership in that?
Yeah, I have a partner in that one.
Awesome.
And I do want to do more collaborations, and you know, I don't think that starting a company by myself, I probably won't do that again. You know, I love it, and I love Mowellens. It's like my baby. But the community and like connection and enjoying the quality of life with people, it means a lot to me. So.
Yeah.
That's a really intentional way of looking at it because it is a business and you want it to be successful, but at the same time, there's a bigger picture of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's really neat. Something that we love asking all of our guests is to share a piece of advice or a mantra that you're living your life by.
You know, I think if we're grateful for every moment of every day, then we won't ever feel disappointed or we'll always look at life in a very positive light. And our lives can change so quickly, and experienced that firsthand. And so I think looking at, every experience, every challenge, every opportunity from all angles and just being grateful for that, it helps just maintain that flow of things coming in and out and enjoy the journey, every step of it.
I love your outlook.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I have one last question. Where did the name come from? We never talked about that.
Yeah, so I'm from Missouri.
Okay.
So that's where the Mo comes from. And then I wanted to move from traditional healthcare into the wellness industry. So I kind of took the Mo and a play on wellness, created Mowellens.
Cute.
I like that.
I think you have a great brand.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really great. We hope that all of our U.S. listeners will check out your brand, and then also we'll keep everyone posted if we can distribute in Canada.
Amazing.
Talk about that a little bit more.
Where can our listeners find you online?
We're at Mowellens on all social channels, and then Mowellens.com, Mowellens. And then I'm on social at Living Duncan.
Awesome. We'll share all those links. And everybody remember to follow us on social at Style for the Priv and at Priv Talks Podcast. Feel free to subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and leave us a lovely review. You can shop on our website with the code Priv Talks for 20% off all the time. And then head into our Facebook group for some inside scoops, events, giveaways, and so much more.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, Amy. It was so great having you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
And cheers also to using up this entire bottle before I have to go